Good evening. Thank you for being here. We'll give the stream a moment to settle and then we'll begin. We'll be just with you in a minute. All right. Good evening. I'm Adriano Marquez, founder of Savings.Club. And tonight is a good night. In about 45 minutes, one member of this club reaches the top of the ranking. They take a voucher, they go and buy the car they want, breaking free from the bondage of interest payments. That's the whole thing. And you're going to watch it happen live. And here's what makes tonight work. The ranking is already live in your app. Every member can see it right now. So what happens tonight is not a reveal. It's a confirmation in front of everyone that the system does exactly what it says it does. That's the whole show. Quick introduction. I'm Adriano Marquez, co-founder and CEO of Savings.Club. I spent 20 years as a software and artificial intelligence engineer before this, and I built Savings.Club because the way America pays for cars is broken. But don't worry, it's fixable. So an hour together, the lesson, and then the selection. Here's the hour so you know where we're going. First, what a car actually costs in America. Then, the big lesson, the single most expensive question anybody asks you at a dealership, and I'll show you in dollars why it's the most expensive one. Then I'll take you through how to move up the ranking when you become a member of Savings.Club. And then at 7 o'clock, the selection will take place. And here's my promise for the next hour. Even if you never join this club, even if you're only here tonight to watch somebody else buy their car, you're going to leave knowing how to buy your next car better than most people in America. One more thing before we start. Tonight is our 11th voucher selection. We've run this 10 times already. 4 of them ended with a voucher issue. In fact, 4 of them ended without a voucher issued. Tonight is simply one of those voucher selections that you get to watch. And tonight, we're going to have our 7th voucher issued live. And one piece of housekeeping I'm going to repeat 3 times tonight because I don't want a single member to miss it. Starting next month, the selection runs on the 15th, or if the 15th falls on a weekend or a holiday, the next business day. I'll come back to it before we finish. Let's talk about the actual cost of a car. Think about the last car you bought, not the one you're dreaming about, the last one you actually signed for. What did you pay for it? Hold that number in your head. Be honest about it, because I'm about to tell you something about that number that most people go their whole lives without hearing. Here's the thing. Whatever number you're holding in your head, you didn't pay it. I'm not calling you a liar. I'm saying the number you remember is the number they taught you to remember. It's the number on the window or the number you shook hands on. Nobody has ever paid that number, not once, not on any car, anywhere in this country. There are actually 3 prices on every car. Almost nobody is ever shown the third one. So here's the first price, $30,000. That's the price you thought you paid. That's the number on the window, the number you negotiated, the number you told your family you paid for the car. And it is a real number. It's just not what the car actually costs you. Here's the second price, and this one is already different. This is the total on the paperwork you actually signed. The price plus the sales tax, the title, the registration, and anything else that went onto that deal. And here's the third price. This is the one almost nobody knows. And it is the one that everybody actually pays when they finance their vehicle. Add up every single monthly payment from the first one to the very last one. 84 of them at $725 each. That is the money that actually left your life for that car. $60,866 for a $30,000 car. And I want you to be completely clear about something because it matters. Nobody cheated anybody. Every one of those numbers was disclosed in writing and signed for. The reason the third number is shocking is that nobody ever really adds all of the monthly dues to come up to this number. This number is spread across 7 years, and the only number you were ever asked to look at the moment of the purchase was the monthly due. Same car, $30,000 car, nothing exotic, the kind of car most families actually buy. 3 different buyers walk in, same car, same lot, same salesperson, same afternoon. They pay 3 completely different prices, and not one of those prices is written anywhere on that car. Let's go through the best case first. This is a good outcome. In fact, this is an excellent outcome. You have credit over 700, one of the best rates available in this market to an ordinary person, typically reserved only to new cars. You're going to be paying over time $43,707 for a $30,000 car. Now, the average American score, 600 to 699. This is most people watching tonight statistically. $54,269. 24,000 over the price of the car. Same car, same day. The only thing that changed is a number in a database that a stranger calculated about you. And at the floor, under 450, if you get approved at all, and most people at that level don't, it's going to cost you $67,839, more than double the sticker price. And I want you to name what's actually happening here, because it's the part that most people make me build this company. The people who can least afford it pay the most, not because the car costs more, because the money costs more. The worse your situation, the more expensive it is to be in it. So notice what actually set those 3 prices. Not the car, it's the same car. Not the salesperson, it's still the same salesperson. Not how hard anybody negotiated. A 3-digit number picked your price before you walked through the door. You were quoted before you arrived. Now, that's the part most of you already suspected. Here's the part almost nobody knows, and it's worth real money to you tonight. Because there is one question asked in the first 5 minutes of almost every car purchase in America that decides more of that number than your credit score. Let's now dissect the monthly payment to learn more about where your hard-earned money is going every month. Because this is the question. Every one of you has heard it. You sit down, they get you a coffee, and somewhere in the first 5 minutes, they ask you this. And I want you to be precise about this. That is the most expensive question asked at a dealership. Not the most annoying, the most expensive. Let me show you why. Almost everybody who has ever bought a car has heard that question. It is not an accident. It's intentional. How much do you want to pay per month? Here's the problem with a monthly payment. It is one number and it hides three. It hides the price of the car, it hides the term, and it hides the rate. Those three can move independently. Push one up, pull another down, and the monthly on the screen doesn't budge, which means the payment can stay at exactly the number you asked for, while the total amount of money that leaves your life goes up by thousands, and nothing on the page looks wrong. So the moment you answer that question, something happens that nobody announces. You stop negotiating the price. But the biggest one is simpler than that, and it's the term. You tell them the monthly you can't manage, that what they're going to do at the end. They're going to manage everything around that number to make it fit your life. If you say $500, they're going to make it happen. At 60 months, that is $875 a month. At 72 months, $786. At 84, $725. Every one of them is exactly what you asked for. You will feel like you won the negotiation in all three cases. Now, look at what actually left your bank account. $8,339 more for the identical car. Same car, same handshake. And there is a second cost that doesn't show up on any page. On a stretch term, you spend years owing more on the car than the car is worth. So if it gets totaled or your life changes and you need out, you're writing a check to walk away from that car you no longer have. That's the real price of a long term. It isn't just the extra money, it's that you lose the ability to change your mind. Let's open the payment up and look inside it. On a loan, your monthly is split three ways. Some of it buys the car, some of it is interest, and some of it pays for the fees. And here's the part that surprises people. Those proportions are not fixed. In the early years, the share that actually reaches the car is at its smallest because interest is charged on the whole outstanding balance. And at the start, the balance is everything. That's not anybody cheating. That's just what a rate does. It's arithmetic. But almost nobody's shown the arithmetic. Now, here's the same monthly in the club, and it splits three ways. The common fund contribution, that is your principal. That is the money that buys your car. The setup fee, which runs for the first 24 months only. And the membership fee, which is flat and runs for the life of your plan. And I want to be precise about the setup fee because 2 lines on a page looks like 2 fees. They're not. The setup fee is part of the total membership fee, simply brought forward into the first 24 months. After month 24, it is finished, and from there, you're paying the membership fee and nothing else. And here's the part that matters most at every single point in your plan. You're always paying far more principal than fee. Not at the end, the whole way through. The fee is flat. It does not change. It does not grow while you're not looking because there is nothing in it that can grow. And that's the entire difference in one sentence. A rate is charged every day on whatever you still owe, every day for years. It compounds against you while you sleep. Our fee is set once at the start and it never goes up. You're told the number before you sign. It isn't that we're cleverer than the bank. It's that there is no bank in the middle of this. So there is nothing for a rate to attach to. So here's rule number 1. This is the part I want you to write down or screenshot or put in your phone right now. Never negotiate the monthly payment. Negotiate the out-the-door price. One number, total, everything included. And don't discuss anything else until you have that number in writing. And when they ask you the question, because they will ask you, you don't have to be difficult about it. You just say, I'm not working for a monthly payment. What's the out the door price? That's the whole script. 7 words. On the deal we just walked through, the term alone was worth $8,339. Now, let's talk about how you go up in the ranking with Savings Club. Members, this next part is for you specifically. Let's kill the misunderstanding that stops most people. A payment advance is paying ahead. It's not paying more. Your total does not change, not by a dollar, not by a penny. You're moving money you already owe from later to sooner. That's the entire mechanic. The word is the problem. Advance sounds like something extra, but it isn't. It's the same money, just sooner. And here's why a member would do that. When you pay ahead, you reduce your balance with the club. A smaller balance is a smaller risk, and lower risk moves you up the ranking. Moving up the ranking means you're awarded sooner. And because you were paying ahead the whole time, you finish paying sooner too. That is the whole loop. Pay ahead, owe less, rank higher, go sooner, finish sooner. Let me show you exactly how this works. All right. So this is what your app looks like when you open it and you go to the club. From here, you can see all of the contribution history of all members at all times since the beginning of the club. This is how transparent the app is. You can audit and validate all payments that get to the common fund yourself and all the payments that comes from the members. And then you can come here to the tab Voucher. If you go to the middle tab at the top where it says ranking, you can actually find yourself there. So I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom where this specific membership, which is a membership owned by Savings Club, is, and we're going to find it at position 117. Now, know this is a contract that was purchased this week, so it's brand new, and it started out at this position. Now, if you want to go up, you can go to score and then schedule additional payments. When you make an additional payment, and the first one, the minimum is $10, after the first one is going to be 100, you can actually see what your future score is going to look like. So you can try different numbers. In this specific case, I'm doing 250. You can try 500, 1,000, 5,000, whatever amount you'd like to make, starting at $10 from the first payment advance. I'm going to put 250. Then the next step is going to be just processing the payment. And once I process the payment with a payment method that I already have saved with the system, I can go back to the ranking and see how it changed. So now I'm scrolling down, and remember, my first position was actually 117, and now I can be found at position 86. All right. So this is the whole process, going up the ranking. If you want to look further in the app and explore a little bit more, I recommend you getting acquainted with the positions of members that you have on the ranking. Here you can see everyone that has ever been awarded, all of the members that got their vouchers. You can also go to your own payment settings, and there you can see the payment method you have on file. You can see all of the payments you made. And in fact, you can actually see the details and the breakdown of all payments that you made throughout the life of your membership with us. It's awesome. All right. So let's go back here to our presentation. Taking a second. There you go. Let's keep going. The number that you use to make your payment advance doesn't have to be big. The minimum, like I said, is $10 for the first payment advance. After that is going to be $100. People imagine that a payment advance means writing a big check. It doesn't. A small one this month, a small one next month, that's a member who's moving and the system sees it. And often you're doing more than your neighbor. And that's why, and that's how you go up the ranking. One last thing on this, and it's the most useful thing I'll say to members tonight. Steady beats sudden. An advance made quietly in February does more for your position than a panicked one on the afternoon of a voucher selection. The members at the top of the ranking tonight did not get there this week. They got there over months on their own schedule when it was comfortable. Let's show you what happens to your money while you wait to be awarded. Now, where your money actually sits is guarded by several gates. Gate 1, your payment arrives through the processor and then it sits there for about a week. From there, it goes into a segregated account where Savings.Club separates the fees from the common fund contributions. The common fund contributions, which is what represents the principal on your membership, goes to the trust once per week. Gate 2, that trust is an account custodied at US Bank, a national bank. And I want you to be specific about what that rules out. It is not a balance in an app. It is not sitting with a payment processor. It is not in our operating account with our name on it. It is a national bank in a trust, in an irrevocable trust, and it is not ours. Gate 3, it's held by an independent trustee, independent of us, different company, different people, their own professional obligations. And money leaves that trust only for the purposes written into the trust document. Gate 4, the trust is irrevocable. We cannot unwind it. The members are the beneficiaries, and it's bankruptcy remote, which means the creditors of this company cannot reach it ever. So here's what all 4 gates add up to. If this company disappears tomorrow, if every one of us walked away, if the whole thing failed, you would still be a beneficiary of that fund. Now, an update on the member board, and it's a good one. Quick reminder for anybody new. The board is made up of members, chosen by members, with real authority written into the agreement, not an advisory panel. Can read exactly what it covers in section 2.4 of your membership agreement. When we opened this up, a number of you came back to us with the same reaction. And we decided to simplify the process to make sure it is more accessible to all of you. So we're simplifying what it takes to serve. And I want you to be clear, this is still on schedule, not behind it. Every audit and every document is being retained so the board can verify all of it the day they start operating. All right, so it looks like I'll just say it again. If you have already nominated, put your name forward. Thank you so much. You don't need to do anything else. For the rest of you members, here's the call to serve, to check the money in the trust and all of the other members, and make sure that you're doing your part in protecting and verifying everything, keeping everyone honest. Here's the part that I actually want to say to you, and then I'll move on. If you looked at that and thought that's not me, I'm not supposed to be a member of this board, I'd like you to look again, because I know that who I'm hoping puts their name in isn't the person with the most impressive resume. It is the member who reads their statement every month, who notices when a number looks slightly off, who asks the questions everybody else was thinking but didn't want to ask. That's the whole job. That instinct pointed at the fund that holds your money. And members, expect us to come to you. We're going to start calling on people directly, because the person who should sit on this board is almost never the person who volunteers first. If your phone rings, say yes. You would be the first board in this club's history. Now, let me explain how the voucher selection works. The biggest misunderstanding about this whole model, and I want it said clearly and on the record, this is not a raffle. It is not a drawing. It is not a lottery. Nobody's name goes into a hat. Nobody's number gets pulled, and there is no element of chance anywhere in this process. It is a ranking. Every member has a position in it. Every member can see their position, and that position is earned. Here's what moves you up it. Paying on time moves you up. Paying ahead moves you up faster. That's the whole mechanic. And I'll be straight about the last line. Your overall financial standing counts too. The savings score is a blend of what you do in this club and objective financial factors. What it is not luck, not chance, not our favor. Nobody here can move you up or down. You can move yourself up. That is a scoreboard you control. And almost nothing else in American consumer finance works that way. All right, we just skipped one. Sorry. The system awards to the highest savings score if three things are true. One, the member is current on their plan. Two, their payments have actually cleared, not submitted, cleared. Three, the common fund can cover the voucher. And I want you to understand that third condition is real, because it's the one that sounds like boilerplate. In 4 earlier selections, the member in first position was ready. They've done everything right, and the fund was not yet big enough to cover their voucher responsibly. So the system made no award that month. It did not stretch, it didn't promise, it didn't borrow against next month's contributions to make a good broadcast. 4 times, and every one of those 4 is a reason the money is still there tonight. And while we're on the selection runs, the second of my 3 mentions tonight, from next month, it runs on the 15th, or the next business day when the 15th is a weekend or a holiday. The system, the conditions, the ranking, none of that is changing. Only the calendar, and only when the calendar makes us change it. Tonight is a Saturday, so tonight is exactly the kind of night that would move it. All right, so okay. Everybody with the app open already knows who's in position tonight. So understand that you watching today is not a reveal. It's a confirmation. The system checks 3 conditions. It runs, and it does exactly what the ranking has been telling you all week it would do, in public, and that is the entire point of doing this live. All right, let's see how the selection works. Condition 1. Like I said, the member in first position is current on their plan. So if the fund has enough money to award the first, second, third, fourth position, any of the top positions, the fund is going to fund as many members as possible. But it's only going to fund the members in those top positions that are current on their plan. They cannot be late on any of their payments. Okay? Condition 2. Their payments have cleared, not submitted, cleared. Condition 3, the common fund has to be able to cover the voucher of each and every one of the awarded members. So the fund right now, if you check the app, and I'm going to open the app live, and I'm going to show you here quickly. I'm going to show you on camera. Here's what it looks like right now. 40,168.02, right? So that's what we have in a common fund right now. So this could award 2 vouchers of $20,000. It could award 1 voucher of $30,000. It could award 1 voucher of $25,000, or it could award up to a voucher of $40,000. And the greatest thing is that you can check that yourself. Just open the app as a member, log in, go to Club, this icon right here at the bottom, and you're going to see this screen. Okay. So before it runs, and we still have about 14 minutes, I'm going to say something so nobody's confused about what we're watching. When the voucher selection executes, the result reaches your app instantly. Members will know before I finish reading it out loud. And here's something most people never see as a protection, but it is. The order of members in that ranking is not random. The money is released first to the members who've proven month after month that they protect the trust. They protect the other members. They are responsible financially. That is what their ranking is. It isn't a queue. It is a track record. So what happens after the award for the awarded member? So the credit voucher certificate is going to be issued, and the member now is free to shop like any other buyer at any dealership they like. They can shop online, they can go at a dealership. Once they find the vehicle, they report that vehicle either through the dealership or themselves, and then we verify the deal. The vehicle, the title, the price against value, the liens. We make sure that this is not a fraudulent transaction. The asset is real, it exists, and is the standard process that all banks and all financial institutions perform before they lend money against a property. Now, here's the part I want you to hold on to, because it is why this structure is worth the trouble. Before the trustee releases a single dollar, the direction has to carry 2 signatures, one from an officer of this company and one from you, the member whose voucher it is. Think about what that means. I cannot instruct that trustee to move money out of that fund on my own without your approval. Not because I promise not to, because the paperwork does not work without your signature on it. Then the trustee verifies every details, and then they give me a phone call, read it back, everything, and confirm that this is exactly right before anything moves. At that point, after verification, the payment goes to the dealership. The dealership then issues the title, places a lien, and hands you the key. And then step 7, the one people forget. You have to keep paying every month until the end of your membership. This is not a footnote. It is the entire engine. The money came out of the fund, and every payment made against it goes back into the fund. That is what lets the next member go. And if you stop paying, we're going to have to collect. We're going to have to repossess the vehicle and return that money back to the fund so other members can take their turn. And I want this one said plainly because it's the question everybody eventually asks. The payment goes to the dealership against one specific vehicle with a verified title. It never goes to a member, and it never comes to us. One piece of housekeeping before we go. Starting next month, the selection runs on the 15th, or if the 15th falls on a weekend or a holiday, the next business day. And the easiest way to understand how everything works is to look at it tonight. Tonight is a Saturday. Under the new rule, a night like tonight runs on the Monday instead. That's the whole change. Same system, same conditions, same ranking. The only thing that moves is the date, and only when the calendar makes it move. Everything you watch tonight is around a single idea. Pay for the car, not for the money. Before we go, the next election, like I said, is Tuesday, September the 15th, live right here. Members, the board, put your name in it. We're making it simpler, and we'd rather have too many of you than too few. And any question at all about tonight, about the club, about your own plan, goes to contact@savings.club. Every single one is going to get an answer. All right. So thank you for spending the time up to now. And I'm going to show you a few things to help you verify your membership and understand a little bit better while we wait the next 8 minutes for the voucher award. The first thing that I'm going to show you tonight at this point is going to be your agreement. So this is your agreement, okay? And I'm going to go to the first page, and it looks like this. And it's going to carry all of your initials and your signatures, all right? But then if you go all the way down to page 48, you're going to find Exhibit C. And I'm not sure that you can actually read from my screen share, but Exhibit C says Savings Club Auto Trust 1 Irrevocable Trust Agreement. This is the agreement that caused the creation of this trust in the state of Wyoming. And if you keep going and you go all the way to the last page, and these are all the terms that define the operations of this trust and that the trustee has to follow regarding this trust. If you go all the way to the end, you're going to find the signature page. And the signature page contains the signature of the officer of this company, Savings Club Financing Technologies LLC, which is a Wyoming limited liability company. And you're going to find the signature of the representative of the trustee. The trustee is called Jackson Hole Trust Company, which is also a Wyoming company, and it is a licensed trust company in the state of Wyoming. But how can you check that? All right, I'm going to show you live. First, I'm going to add here my screen. We still have 7 minutes before the award, so we're still on time. And just find the window. Here you go. There it is. If you come here to Google and you go to Wyoming Division of Banking, you're going to find the official website of the State of Wyoming Division of Banking. And you click it. And here you can go at the top at banks and trust companies. Then you can go to regulated financial institutions. If you click at Wyoming Trust Companies and you scroll down a little bit, you're going to find Jackson Hole Trust Company right there with its business address and city and state. Okay. If you click here, you actually go to their website. This is where they conduct their business and explain about their services. Pretty simple. How do you know that none of this is fake and this company still exists? Well, you can go back to Google. You can go to Wyoming Business Search, right? So you go to this website, which is also owned and operated by the state of Wyoming, and then you type Jackson Hole Trust Company. Then you're going to find that company right here saying it is an active company, status is current, and has all of the history and documents since it started operating back in 2011, 15 years ago. Okay. And you can do one more. You can actually come here and check us too. You can say Savings Club Financing Technologies. You can search, and you're going to find your business here. Also active, also current. You're going to find the same history. It's a newer business, but you're going to find all of the meaningful details here. Awesome. So now you know. We still have 4 minutes. And in order to fill up this time, I'm going to now show you one more trick. You know what? I believe that I did all of that outside of the screen. So let me repeat the process for you. So you go to google.com and you type Wyoming Division of Banking, and you're going to find it here. And then you go to Bank and Trust Companies, Regulated Financial Institutions, and you click on Trust Companies. Here you're going to find Jackson Hole Trust Company. And if you click here, like I said, you see the website where they operate their business and inform about their services. And then what I did was going back to Google, now that you can see it, and typed Wyoming Business Entity Search. And you can find the Wyoming, State of Wyoming website for searching for businesses, and you see Jackson Hole Trust Company. And you're going to find Jackson Hole Trust Company here, active, current, and you see the history. All right, everything. And you can come back here and type Savings Club Financing Technologies. You search, and then you're going to find us here again. Active, current, the date of the initial filing, additional details, history, public notes, everything is here. So you know that we're real, we're incorporated, and we exist in the state of Wyoming. Now, let's do this. Here's what you're going to be seeing on your app right now. This is a ranking. We're down to 1 minute right now, a minute and change. You're going to see that there is one person at the top. My found 000192, right? So this person is certainly going to be awarded. If that person has a $20,000 voucher and the second person also has a $20,000 voucher, we're going to have 2 awards, okay? If not, if this person has a voucher that is greater than $20,000, then only this person is going to be awarded. Because as we saw in the club page, we only have $40,000, 168.02 cents. All right. So, like I said before, we're never going to award more money than the fund can actually support. And then after this, which we're about to turn, we're going to see that this member is going to vanish from this position. And now this member is going to show up right here in history near the top. Okay. Let's see. Let's do a countdown. Just a few more seconds. Let's do this together. And just so you know, my or DC or any other letter represents the first initial and the last initial of the name of the individual or entity that owns this contract. Okay. So now we just turned. You probably saw it happen live. Let's see here quickly. you're going to see that the counter restarted. The first position vanished. Now the second position took the first place. And if you come to history, you're going to see that the first position was awarded. So that voucher was probably more than $20,000, and or the second position was more than $20,000. And there you go. Congratulations to my found key 000192. You're now the happy awarded member that's going to have the ability to go to a dealership and purchase your next vehicle without having to pay interest on it. Congratulations. Now, that has been a great broadcast. I appreciate all of you. I'd like to say that being a member at Savings Club is an opportunity to break the bondage of interest rates. Interest rates is what has been holding back the financial lives of many people in this country. The average citizen is going to pay throughout their life over $1.3 million in interest alone through all of their purchases, homes, vehicles, credit card payments, and any other loan. Savings Club was created to avoid this. Savings Club was created to give people freedom on their financial lives, the ability to pay the minimum needed in order to own. We know it takes time. We know you have to wait your turn, but that also provides a better financial habit for your life. When you plan your purchases, when you start early, and you do this ahead of time, you're protecting yourself from paying more when you take decisions on a whim. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your attention. I really appreciate all of you. If you're not a member, join us. Give us a try. Once you join, you can check out everything. You can check out the app. You can try making payment advances. And if you don't like us, you have 7 days to give up, and we'll give you back all of your money. After 7 days, you can still walk away. You can transfer, and you can call us, and we're going to give you plenty of options to part ways with your membership. We're here to help members. We're not here to create another bondage that we see happen with the other financing methods. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much. See you on the next 15th. Take care.